Welcome, low ego action heroes. This is Debbie Levitt from DeltaCX.com. We are a full service CX and UX consultancy and agency. We do projects, training, and consulting. Check us out if you want. I still haven't updated our website, but there's something there. Hello, welcome to our Friday show. This is August 26, 2022. It's our Practicing Critical Thinking stream. We've got 5 things sent in by you and one thing I wanted to talk about. But before we get into that stuff, let's take a moment to thank everybody who is donating to the channel by going to YouTube and clicking join. They're giving $3 to $10 per month, American dollars, which is totally optional but greatly appreciated as it keeps me in streaming software and chocolate chips. Yum, yum. Okay, so remember, if you would like to join our Slack community, which is free, our Discord community, which is free, send in stuff for the Tuesday stream, the Friday stream, the Monday stream, follow all of the links here, deltacx.com/links. A quick apology, I seem to be having an end of summer high humidity face acne breakout. I tried to put some concealer on it, but I could not conceal it. So rather than cancel the show out of vanity, I'm just doing it anyway. So sorry, you've got, as of now, a big close-up of not my best version of my face. For those of you who don't like my face, on a good day, maybe today is an upgrade. Who can say? Also, please subscribe here on YouTube. I'm always happy to see more subscribers here, even though we donate all of the ad revenue to charity. So it's really about finding more people so that we can help them, educate them, and support them. So won't you please find 3 people who might love our channel and pass it on? Hey, Janice. Aw, Debbie. Well, what did I do? All right, so let me flip over to my screen. Hey, Steph, happy Friday. Let me flip over to my other screen and other screen. Here we go. And press this button. Boom. Okay, so this should be, yes, here we go. Wrong screen. Okay. So here's my screen, private browser mode. Hi, Craig T. Here's me. Here's the optional tip jar. Here's if you do super chat or super stickers, they fall into the tip jar. And of course, here's the live chat. You can follow along with what everybody is saying on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, and Twitter, though we've never gotten a tweet yet. Okay, the first one we have is, hey, David, the only people that are afraid of your face are those that fear the sight of truth approaching. This needs to be voice acted with some sort of video gaming type of voice. The only people that are afraid of your face. Thank you, David. That's a beautiful sentiment, I think. Okay, so someone sent in degreeless.design. Everything I learned in design school. Hello, Debbie. Someone recommended this resource for folks starting out in UX. I saw one of the processes highlighted, design thinking. Don't feel good about it. Would love your insights. Okay, so I'm going to mark that one as done because I remembered to talk about it. And here we go. So it looks like degreeless.design is mostly curated stuff. Like, hey, kerning, pen tools, colors, coolers. Coolers is a fun site, not sponsored. Usability, heuristic spelled wrong, cognitive walkthroughs, laws of UX. And in general, I'm not usually particularly impressed with any site that is just saying, hey, here's a bunch of links. Because the question is, how is that any better? Oh, hi, Eduarda. How is that any better than I'm just going to Google stuff and see what I find? So I think that this is not impressive. It's not something I would necessarily recommend. And of course, I thought it was really interesting at the bottom. It was, well, look at my portfolio and buy me coffee. It was like, okay, then why are you doing this? What is this? So ultimately, I think a page of curated links isn't necessarily worth sharing. If it were Darren's page of links, I would be like, hey, Darren is a source I trust and recommend. Let's see what links he's got. But since this is not a source I trust or recommend, and since these seem like some of the typical things that we would normally be talking about, like go read the NNG site, go learn about Gestalt principles, go learn about behavioral economics, I think you could Google things, and I don't think these are necessarily building empathy, which we've talked about. Hi, Elliot. How's the new job going? Or the job promotion, I should say. Yeah, I'm not impressed, and I think in general, pages of links, I'm old enough to remember pages of links from the 1990s, and for some reason, they've just never really worked for me. To me, if you really want, how is this meaningful, actionable, helpful? Say, why is this page better than another? Hey, there's this usability heuristics page. There's this other one. Here's why you want to read this one. And here's why this one isn't good or true or a good resource. So without that, it's just a page of links. So maybe it's for SEO. I don't know. So pass. Steph says, I think Darren would cringe at laws of UX. Yeah, Darren does cringe at laws of UX, and I'm a little cringe about it too, especially since we know some of them are, well, first of all, none of them are laws, and second of all, some of them have already been disproven. So yeah, pass. Okay, someone sent me Marketunist, who I don't know. The algorithm giveth and taketh away. Giveth and taketh away. New cartoon and post. Rutgers professor, and I'm going to mispronounce this, Shagun Javert, coined the term algorithmic anxiety while researching Airbnb hosts. The obsessive lengths that hosts were trying to take to boost the rankings of their property while not being sure how the Airbnb algorithm worked or what would make a difference. Yeah, if you're sending me this because you think I feel this way about YouTube and about LinkedIn, sure I do. Abso-Smurfly. I didn't go and take a look at the cartoon. Let's take a look. Steph says, I'm surprised to see kerning and pen tool as foundation. It's cool, but kerning, it's very visual designer. Most of the time you use the font and you leave the kerning as is. That's true. I can't remember the last time I messed with kerning, but that's me. Who had Fontographer? Who remembers Fontographer? The algorithm, yeah. Oh, look at all these followers, customers, and orders. I'm amazing. WTF. Yeah. That's very true, and I think we all feel this. If you're involved in posting anything to any social media, you've probably where there's an algorithm, you probably feel like this. And so yeah, I feel this way, but I still don't know what to do about this. So this is relatable, but not actionable. Thank you for sending it. Okay, this is a Medium article from March 3rd from Brian, whose face looks familiar. I wonder if we got an article from him before, but I can't say I know who he is off the top of my head. Storytelling, make them fall in love with you. Okay, so I assume this is about storytelling. Love and storytelling. Cliffhanger and hook induces dopamine. Is this a poop? Emotional approach induces oxytocin. Well, first of all, is this working? This is a cliffhanger right now. Is everyone flooded with oxytocin and dopamine? Ooh, what's going to happen next? And now an emotional approach. We have to make people empathize with our story. Oxytocin. Project security and eliminate audience stress. Induce endorphin. But where am I going to use this? Is this for writing articles? That's not my style. I don't have an emotional style to my article writing or really to my YouTube broadcasting or my book. I try to be factual. So does that make me a bad storyteller because I didn't set off your oxytocin? Structure to build stories. We talk a lot about storytelling in UX. We talk about storytelling in your portfolio. I think storytelling is important, but I'm not sure I would give people this advice because this sounds like make people feel things that will release chemicals in their body. Okay, but in reaction to my usability testing report? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if this is a novel or some sort of fiction work that this could be a model to follow. Is this just me? Is anybody else wondering when we're going to do this? No good story lacks dopamine for a touch of suspense and engagement. Oxytocin to create empathy, and I think make people go into labor. Do I have that one right? Medical people? And endorphin to have a relaxed and safe environment. And aren't endorphins what gets set off when you exercise really hard? When you exercise really hard, do you feel relaxed and safe? I've never had endorphins go off. I'm like non-endorphin-y. I can exercise really hard and feel nothing other than self-loathing. David says, I always feel icky when people are consciously trying to manipulate endorphins to evoke illicit behavior or response. Yeah, good point, good point. Janice says, is it just my internet or does anybody else have a lag? I don't know. Am I lagging? You can see my, this is my internet meter down here above my clock, so you can always see if my internet takes a dive. Macron, we haven't seen you in the longest time. How are you? Maybe release horror emotion among stakeholders from your usability study. I love it. That's great. And now let me tell you how well your idea worked on our customers. Wah, wah. I think we have something for that. Yeah. Okay. So, this to me goes in the bucket with stuff like, well, if you use the color purple, it's regal and people will associate it with kings and queens. Hey, not for about 500 years. So no, goes in that bucket. Oh, I forgot to show this to everybody. Oh, I'll show it at the end of the show. David says, I've done that last one. Yeah, totally. The horror, the silence, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, name chemicals that go through your body when all hell is breaking loose. Begins with an A. The adrenaline. The adrenaline of the pin dropping when you reveal everything's wrong. Steph says, give me coupons for chocolate if you want to manipulate my endorphins. David says, I've gotten a couple of gasps, I think. Yes. Macron says, I did that on Monday with a heuristic analysis. Yay, do it. All right, we've got a couple more, so let's go for it. This says, the content first approach, how to get a competitive edge through great UX. Kayleen says cortisol. Yeah, I was thinking adrenaline, but you might still be right. Okay. The content first approach, how to get a competitive edge through great UX. Okay, so I think all of us here on the channel believe that great UX can give a company a competitive advantage and edge. So let's see what this article is saying. Most people aren't interested in you or your organization. They want to know what you can do for them. Can you answer my question? Can you help me complete my task? Can you entertain me? Yeah, and really all three of those are variations of can you help me complete my task, since the task might be entertain me or answer my question. So I think we agree with this. In other words, they're looking for content. Okay. Maybe. Can anybody think, again, critical thinking, can anybody think of a case when that's not the case? Are we always looking for content? Well, let's keep reading while we see what your answers are. You need to stand out, you need to create the right content for the right people on the right device. Agreed. Any content specialist will tell you content is arguably the hardest thing to get right, but if you start with content, you'll increase your chances of creating stuff people really want. David says, what if I need to do a thing your software does? Is that content? Yeah, it's a great question because I was kind of thinking that too. What if I'm logging into Monday.com to, not sponsored, to update one of my boards on the progress of a thing? Could you claim that the progress of a thing is content? Or, I think ultimately the right answer here might be, how does the user see it? I guess I don't see that as content, but I could see how someone else would. But, we're getting a little bit wacky here. So, Emmanuel says, a pregnant lady in labor. Yes, we don't want to make her accidentally give birth by inducing oxytocin. That was on the previous screen. Okay, so when people talk about content first design or anything that is first, I always check, do I agree that this is really what's first? And if we take a look at the simplified, oversimplified diagram that I use for user-centered design and human-centered design, I know it doesn't look great on white, but it looks like this. And basically, I believe that UX, UCD, HCD, CX, whatever we're going to call it, even if it's design thinking, is research first. I don't know the right content to create, how much content there should be, the types of content there should be, until I've got some research and I understand, everyone say it along with me, people, contexts, and systems. So do I think content should be first? No. But if you take a look at what I've got, I do think content is great when we can do it second, as in research informed, and before we're creating too much more. Now, that being said, some companies don't have the content ready that early in the process, and sometimes we are starting some information architecture or interaction design with no content, placeholder content, or whatever, and we're lorem ipsuming the hell out of things. So I do think that I would say I believe in content early design, but I'm not sure it would be first because I don't think there should be anything before research and knowledge. Steph says, depends how you define content. Is content text? Or can complex data people I want to export to Excel, is that content? Right. Macron says, content is on top of your structure. How's the starting point? Right. Structure. Yeah, sometimes which comes first, chicken or egg, content or the information architecture. I think the content could come first because the structure might be affected by the content. But then also there's other aspects of information architecture that could affect the content. So that one's a little bit chicken eggy, even though we know that the egg came first. Madalena says, hey, Debbie, for the first time, YouTube showed me your live video in my feed. Wow, that's great. Maybe I'm still shadow banned, but maybe it's getting better. Macron says you should know about the type of content and format of it before any UI work to avoid lorem ipsum. All right, so I would have to say I don't completely agree with content first, but I do agree that the earlier we can get content, the better. But that content should be informed by our research data and what we know about people from their tasks. Remember, we talked up here about complete my task. How are you going to know that task if you haven't done research? So I'm going to have to call it content early. The content first approach forces you to consider some key questions like who's my audience, what are they interested in, what information do they want, what devices do they use, which we would know from research and probably some analytical tools that can tell us about devices and things like that. So I think that, again, you're saying content first, but really this is your dependency. You have knowledge. You have a knowledge dependency. You've got to know stuff before you can make the content, and that's where research comes in. We plan content so it's ready to be served on different devices. Newsflash, not groundbreaking. That's the way it should be. Nothing special there. Content should be ready to be served on different devices. Yes. Smartwatches, chatbots, voice assistants, and interfaces. Okay, I'm sensing a little bit of SEO keywords here. I don't know about anybody else. Hey, Molly, those key questions can be answered by research. I know, we caught them. We've done this for many organizations. Okay, so this started out as an article and it's kind of becoming a sales pitch. And so I think a mistake that some companies make is they can't tell if their articles are articles to inform you and be meaningful, actionable, and helpful, or if this is a sales pitch and stuff gets a little bit mixed up. I try to make sure that if I'm writing an article that has some sort of sales pitch or something I want to let you know that I can do, I try to leave that to the end. So I try to present my information, hopefully something you can try on your own. And at the bottom, I might say, hey, by the way, my company does this thing. So I think be careful if you start peppering in sales stuff in the middle of what seems like a how to do better UX article, because I think it can shift people's perceptions of what the article is and maybe even your credibility. David says, do we get to put that one on the duh pile? Maybe. Kayleen says, is it just me or has SEO completely wrecked good writing? Yeah, kind of. Macron says, just the jump and watch webinar makes it more of a pitch. Where did I get, was there jump and watch webinar here? No. So remember, if how to do content first design. Oh, I see it now. This is a link. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even see that. That I think does not pass accessibility. I did not know that was a link. So good, well spotted, Macron. Thank you. Okay, so let's take a look. We've got visual hierarchy here. We've got an information architecture, and this is a company promoting content. Does everybody know where I'm going? Do y'all know me well enough to know where this is going? Does the content answer what the headline promises? So this headline or H2 or whatever it is says how to do content first design. In order to fulfill that promise and not just be a sales pitch, you're going to have to tell me how to do content first design. And it says, we plan content. We've done this. Get the right information to the right people. We separate content from presentation. This is flexible. So here you are trying to sell me at how great you are at content, and you didn't even answer the question that you gave me. Madalena says, how to do content first design? Hire us. Yeah, and I see this a lot. This is a really common thing that people do. You know, of course, this is SEO. It's their own blog. So it's content marketing. We get that. But especially if you're going to try to content marketing about content and content marketing about content and good UX, then I'm going to judge your content severely, fairly. What is structured content? What is a domain model? Okay, so now we can definitely see the SEO keyword feeding adventures. You know, the idea is just to, here it's even IMDb, Spotify. So we're going to name drop some different companies. And so ultimately, I think that I don't know who sent this in or why. I don't remember it coming with commentary, but I think that whoever sent this in, I don't know what you were thinking. Thanks for sending it in. It's definitely interesting because it starts out like, hey, we know about stuff and we're going to show you how to do a thing. And then I did not get shown how to do a thing. And then it's hire us, watch our video, see my webinar, not actionable, not helpful. Remember, if the call to action is sales pitch only, and there's nothing that you can do at the end of this other than go for the sales pitch, if you cannot now do content first design because these people showed it to you, also the promise is you'll get a competitive edge. Did they explain how you'll get a competitive edge, or did they just promise that and we just took for granted that it was true? I'm still looking for the term for that. Maybe Madalena knows, maybe Kayleen knows. These are my go-to people. What is the logical fallacy or cognitive bias when I dangle a steak in front of you and never pay that off? It reminds me of watching the Ryan George pitch meetings where some plot point is introduced and then never followed through on, and it's like, oh, we didn't pay that off. We never explained that plot point. So where's the competitive edge? And I'm looking for the word competitive in the article, and it's only in the headline. So we had the promise that content first is going to give us a competitive edge, but we were never explained that premise. I've got, in the book I'm writing right now, I've got an example of that where somebody kind of says, well, if this company had used jobs to be done, it would have gone better. But that's all they say. And I'm left going, well, you just threw that out there and you expected me to buy it and you accepted me to accept it as true, but you didn't substantiate that in any way at all. Not even with something cherry picked, not even with a personal anecdote. You just made it sound like, yep, and that's the thing. I don't like that. Okay. Next is an NNG video, which I actually watched most of today. And this is, should emojis be used in email subject lines? And they decided to run some sort of study, though I don't have a sense of how many people it was run with or who these people were and stuff like that. So that I don't know. But they wanted to see how people perceived and reacted to emoji in subject lines of emails. And according to NNG, their study showed that, in general, that the emoji seem to work against the email. There's a couple of, I don't want to get any copy strikes here, but let's see if we can find a couple of these findings. This was one of them. The probability of someone picking your email to read was the same whether it had emojis or no emojis. What else did they find? People saw the email without emojis as slightly more valuable. So maybe the emails were a hint that it was a mailing list email or something more spammy. And people associated emails without emojis more positively than negatively. Madalena says quibbling or smokescreen. I don't know. I'll have to write those down and do some looking. Quibbling, smokescreen. Smokescreen sounds good. Thank you. I'll write those down and look into them and see if they're the right words. So what I would like to say about should your emails have emojis is forget about what she says. Test it yourself at your company, whether that's UX's job or marketing's job, or you can partner together on it. There's got to be some way for you to come up with what metrics you see as a successful email. Is it a successful email when it's opened? Is it a successful email when someone's clicked on something in the content? Is it a successful email when something else happens? Is it a successful email when they don't unsubscribe and mark you as spam? Come up with your own success criteria and metrics. Test your own emails with different subject lines. Now, this is not groundbreaking. I didn't make this up. This is just good marketing. So chances are your marketing team could already be doing this, testing different subject lines to see if different types of words, or whether or not people respond to exclamation points, or whether or not people respond to emojis. This is something an in-house marketing team should be studying, because while NNG can give us some sort of broad picture based on whoever their study was with, it may or may not relate to our industry and our target users. This is why I warn people against broad Googling of information as UX research. You might hear, don't use emojis, NNG says don't use emojis, but you might find that your most successful emails, by however you measure success, had emojis. I remember when a year or two ago, someone told me that LinkedIn will kill in the algorithm any post with more than 3 hashtags, and you shouldn't use more than 3 hashtags. And my most successful LinkedIn post in my entire life had 20 hashtags. And I was just like, thanks for your best practices. David says, how do screen readers handle emojis in browser or email clients? Steph says, in browsers, they will read it, but what they read depends, so it can become super annoying if the emoji is abstract and has nothing to do with intended meaning. No idea for clients. Macron says, maybe you broke the algorithm. Who can say? I don't have a lot of experience with screen readers, but I think Steph is right. I think that, for example, they had a screenshot of like what sample emails might look like. Let's see where that was. Here they are. So I think that it would be like, and I don't know what these emojis are called. It's usually whatever the emoji is called. So like, it's a hit, exploding star. Claim 1 of 2 coupons and shop our fan favorites, thumbs up. I don't know if the screen reader says emoji thumbs up or icon thumbs up, or if it just says thumbs up. Again, maybe someone who's more familiar with screen readers can tell me this, but I do believe that these get read, because I remember hearing I remember seeing something on LinkedIn where somebody was complaining that people were using a huge amount of emojis in LinkedIn posts, or they were putting the same emoji in a row like 7 times, and their screen reader was going like upside down smiley face, 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 or something like that. So just something to remember. Steph says, since most email I get with emojis are either porn, larger you-know-what spam, those people are creative, by the way, and marketing, yeah, I'm not surprised by the results. Sure, we might associate emojis with emails that come from mailing lists or spams, because chances are when we send an email to a friend, we don't put an emoji in the subject line. And when we send business emails to each other, we don't put an emoji in the subject line. So it probably does jump out. And I think you can see from what it says on the screen that people did become more visually focused on the emails with the emojis, but it does hint a bit that this is not from your coworker, not from your friend, probably a mailing list or spam. Steph says the red, white, blue is going to be a nightmare for screen reader users. Yeah, that's going to be like red circle, white circle, blue circle, extra 30% off, red circle, white circle, blue circle. So probably not fun. There you go. One more, and then we'll be wrapping it up. Some of you have seen this. This was something I made. I was inspired by Steph, and I learned about a pyramid called Graham's Hierarchy of Disagreement, which means that is totally Googleable. Graham's Hierarchy of Disagreement. It's got a Wikipedia article. It looks like this. I decided to kind of update it for more of the internet and social media age. So this was from 2008. I think it is still very relevant, but I decided to kind of do my own updated version of it. So, of course, credit to Graham, and then I did a modification of it. So basically, the lower you are on the pyramid, the crappier your argument is. You're not even arguing. You're an argument from the sense of conversation, discourse, or debate, not fighting. So the lower you are in the pyramid, the more you're just pulling a bullshit, and the higher you are in the pyramid, the more you're having intellectual discourse, counter arguments, refuting points, and things like that. So when people are crappy to me, ever since I made this, I just post this triangle in a LinkedIn comment, and I say, find yourself on this triangle. And I wanted to talk about this triangle a little bit. Macron says, so lower you are in the pyramid, the more regal you are. Macron, you're killing it today. That is so good. Yes, exactly. You're the king. And of course, if it's green, you're envious or you're eco. You are a leaf. So I've been fighting people for the last few days over Jared Spool. If you've seen it, I apologize that it wasted your time and brain cells, and I know you want that time back in your life. But I want to talk about something that someone said to me in the course of that argument, if you could call it that. And that was that as usual, I had warned people and suggested to people that when you see or hear something from Jared Spool, please use critical thinking. And a few people then wrote in and said that I was unprofessional and that I was high school. Now, obviously, I'm no fan of Jared. I'm reacting to stuff Jared has done. You could drop me on this pyramid if you'd like. But I try to react more to his arguments. I try to stay in the orange zone. I don't go, Jared's an ugly poopy head and he's a monster and he's yucky, yuck, yuck. That would be much lower down the pyramid. I try to say, hey, Jared said this and it doesn't make sense for these reasons and we really need to use our critical thinking. But obviously fans of Jared don't like that, and they told me I was being high schooly and unprofessional. So where does that fall? That falls on name calling and ad hominem, which means to the person, to the human, to the man. Really, I think it's really to the man. Those are, just making it personally about me. But what got really interesting was someone said that me telling people that they weren't using their critical thinking, or they had shut off their critical thinking, or that they have to remember to use their critical thinking. I don't remember what I said, but it was probably one of those three. They said that was immature. So I responded to that, and their response to that was, no, 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 I didn't say you were immature. I said that what you said was immature. And I had a thought about this just before the show, and my thought was, can a statement be immature? Is this person really, is this just a disguised way of telling me I'm immature by saying my statement is immature? They tried to say, no, they weren't telling me I was immature, and like, how dare I twist their words? My statement was immature, which made me think like, oh, my statement is a zygote. I hope my statement will mature at some point. Macron says, in being argumentative with evidence, a base requirement to be creative, possibly. David says, was their response na 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 poo poo? Close. But David, find yourself on this pyramid if you're going to say that. Macron says, bad joke alert. Your statement was born that day only. Yeah, that's very good. No, you're on fire today. So yeah, if I hear you're immature when you say your statement is immature, when a statement can't be immature, that's a human quality. It's like when I saw a job description that said you must be able to make empathetic interactions. And I was like, can an interaction be empathetic? Hey, Benedicta, good to see you. Happy Friday. Yes, Macron, we get it. Yeah, so an interaction can't be empathetic. A statement can't be immature. I see through your shallow ruse. So there you go. Meanwhile, back on a giant face of me. Oh, my hair was crazy. Nobody told me. I didn't bother with my hair today. Y'all know it. It's Friday. Don't bother doing your hair. Yeah, thanks. That was super fun. Thanks to everybody who joined in today. Of course, this is always archived on the YouTube channel in the Critical Thinking Streams playlist if you'd like to watch it back or you miss any of them. Also, remember, you can join our Discord and or Slack communities completely for free. Find them at deltacx.com/links. Remember, we have the Concentric Conference coming up, and I hope you will all register for that. Some tickets are $20. Some tickets are $5. Some tickets cost more. I hope we'll see you there. It's deltacx.com/concentric. Oh, and I also have my Transforming Toward Customer Centricity weekend workshop coming up. If weekends are good for you, tickets are as low as $27 American dollars. Seats still available. So just go to deltacx.com, training, Transforming Toward Customer Centricity. It's there. Thank you, Benedicta. I will probably be working. I hope you will have a super weekend. So let's take a look at the schedule for next week. So Monday would be Think Out Loud, but y'all haven't sent me anything. So if you want to send me something for Monday's Think Out Loud, please do. Otherwise, I might cancel it and focus more on my book. Tuesday is Office Hours Ask Me Anything with special guest Trina Moore Purval, who you know as UX for the Win on Instagram. I'm excited about that. Wednesday, I'm going to do the slides I made for a group called Curios. It was a bunch of slides called, Are You Considering Being a UX Researcher? It was kind of a, Is UX Research Right for Me presentation. So I'll be doing that on Wednesday the 31st and taking your questions about, is a UX research career right for me? Thursday the 1st, the first Thursday of every month, is our community get-together. They have sadly been small. I hope some of you will join in a bit more. We do them on AirMeet, and everybody's welcome to come. It's free. You just need to be in Slack or Discord in the live events channel to get the link so you can go there. And then, of course, next Friday, Critical Thinking Stream. So, yeah. That's what's coming up in the next week. And other than that, I am just working on my book. What's everybody else working on? How's everybody else doing? What's going on? We have a couple of extra minutes. Tell me how you're doing. Anything anybody wants to mention or plug? Sorry again about my face. Even concealer could not hide all of the lovely breakouts I've been getting, but they'll go away eventually. I didn't want to over conceal. Then I would just look really weird. I could have worn maybe a scarf, or I happen to have this napkin at my desk. I think that's an improvement. I could have put on a mask too and just said it was a COVID theme. Macron says, ripping apart or mind-numbing UI, hoping to make it better. Good, please do. Kayleen says, I went to an in-person UXR networking event last night. That's great that people are doing in person again. I hope you will be safe and healthy. Macron says, a form with 17 sections and 4 scrolls. Yikes. We need a little progressive disclosure, I think. Steph says, Flat Hunt is going good, but I need to work on my workshops now. Ha ha ha. Yes. That's a lot of stuff to work on at the same time. Kayleen, did you meet anybody really interesting who we should all know about? Or any friend of the show? Did you bump into any friends of the show there? Speaking of bumping into friends of the show, I'm going to be in Milan in November. I don't know if anybody wants to meet me there. And I might be in Amsterdam in November. So I think we should do some low-ego action heroes get-togethers for anybody who might be in that part of Central Europe. All right, after we hear if Kayleen met anyone exciting, I'm going to play us out of here. Oh, I remembered I wanted to tell everybody my favorite thing about the end of summer is the grapes are ripe. Yes, yes. And neighbors are giving us grapes, and it makes me so happy. These big ones are from the carpenter, who's our neighbor. Oops, I just dropped a grape. And these little guys are from Cousin Gavino. These grapes are much juicier. These grapes are more flavorful. I will eat them all. Ha ha ha. Thank you, LinkedIn user whose name didn't come up on the screen. Sorry about that. Kayleen says, everyone was very nice, but most people hadn't heard of Delta CX. Well, thank you for hopefully spreading the word, and maybe some UX research peeps will join in on the stream. So everybody go get some delicious fresh fruit. Don't get scurvy. And send something for this is critical thinking. Send something for Think Out Loud on Monday, or I'll probably just cancel it and keep writing my book. But there you go. Everyone have a lovely weekend. Yum, yum. And I'll see you soon. Bye. Customer centricity as business intelligence. Visit deltacx.com to learn why we are